Junkyard Junkie, back here with another video, and today we're going to be working on this 2010 Kia Forte. Now with these cars, if you are having any issue with it not coming out of park, I'll show you that in this video also, but the main focus of this video is that even though it will shift into other gears, it's not actually ever coming out of park. So you can put it in drive, but it'll still be in park, and we'll show you that now. Okay, we're in the car now, so we'll just crank it up. Now if we shift it into gear, it still says it's in park. It doesn't matter what gear we put it in. So this is a good sign that it's your shift linkage that's gone bad. Now, like I said, in this video, while we're taking all this apart, I'll also show you how, if it won't come out of park, if it's stuck there, I'll show you how to fix that as well. So stay tuned. Okay, so if you want to verify that your transmission's still working properly, you can manually change it, and I'll show you that now. So if we go in here and we look, let me get a flashlight. Okay, so now that we got a light, if you look down there, right there in that bracket, that's your shift linkage. If you keep following it, it comes right down there. You see that rusty part? So what you can do is, let's take this off. So what we want to do is remove this little intake duct. Now you get better access to it. Now, if you look down there, you'll see it right there, that rusty bit. Now, whenever I shift the gears, it should move. I'll show you what it's doing, and then a before and after. So here's before. And then here's the after. Okay, so if we take a look down here, you can see it better. So right now it's in park, and if you take your finger, just move it, that's reverse, neutral, drive, take your hand and pull it back, now that's neutral, and we can verify that by getting back in the car. Okay, so now when we turn it on, it should be in neutral, and as you can see, it's in neutral. If you want to test this further and you have someone you trust, you could put it, start the car, shift it to drive, have someone holding the brake, of course. Always be super careful and have the emergency brake up, and then you can test to make sure that it's working. But it's clearly the shift linkage has gone bad. These are notorious for going bad. They have little plastic bushings. So we'll show you how to fix that now. Also, don't forget to put this back in park and put your little breather tube back on. Okay, so the first thing we want to do here is you'll take this collar, we're just going to twist it and pull down, and it'll come off just like that. Now if you look here, sorry about that, that was kind of hard to show, but if you look right there, that's a Phillips head screw. So we're going to take that out. We're going to put it in neutral first, make sure your e-brake is up. So to move it to neutral, we'll take our key and we'll stick it in there. And we'll move it to neutral just like that. So now we're just going to take our screwdriver. It doesn't matter if it switches to other gears, that's fine. Just don't lose this screw. Okay. So we'll put this down here where we can remember it. Now, this is going to take a little bit of force. Well, usually it does. But you just pull that straight up, and now we can remove that collar. So we are removing this whole center console, all of this, and it's not as daunting as you think it is. We already got most of it done. Now there's a screw down there, two here, 1, and then I have to slide it back, hold on. 2, and then there'll be 2 on that side, and another one down there in that floorboard that we'll take out. And then 2 more in here, so you want to clean everything out. I'm about to do that right now. Okay, now that you got that cleared out, you have a spot right here where you can take a pick and pull it up, but it comes out pretty easy. If we look down in there, there's 2 bolts right there that we'll also have to take out. I think they're 10 millimeter. Okay, so when taking these out, you want to be careful, don't lose them. Okay, so now that we got both those out, we'll start working on these other ones. So if you go right here by the gear shifter, you follow us down, we have one right here, and it looks like it's missing. Let's get the light. Yeah, so that one's already missing. Okay, so if we do the same thing on this side, you can see there's a Phillips head screw right there. So we're going to take that out now. Always keep up with your screws. You want to have them later on. Okay, moving from the center again. If we look right here, just like I showed you earlier, there's 2 more right here. So we'll just take our screwdriver. It's always handy to have a magnetic one. Snap-on makes a really good magnetic screwdriver. And this is ratcheting too. But as you can see right there, I would have lost it, but it caught it. Sorry about that. I wasn't able to get that recorded on camera. It's hard to find good positioning, but it's the exact same. Just remove it, just like you did the other one. Now let's go to the other side. So once again, coming from the middle console, it's right over here. Make sure your seat's back as far as it can be. Then we'll just take these out as well. Okay, now that we got all that out, what we're going to do first is close this. And we're going to lift up and pull it over. This way we don't have to disconnect anything. If you want to remove it all the way out of your car, you're going to have to disconnect all the connectors up underneath. But for this video, we're just going to lay it to the side. Okay, so there's only one more thing we got to do before we pull it up. And all it is right here at this cover. Just take your finger in there, pull up, and that'll come right off. Okay, with all that out of our way, we now should be able to lift up and slide it right out. I'm just going to turn it on its side right here. Make sure not to stress any wires. I can't stress that enough. And that'll do it. Let me bring you in here so you can see. Okay, so if you look there, let me get the light. You can see the wires, they're not stressed, but if you did want to take it out, all these wires right here, if you did want to take it out, all you'd have to do is unplug them. They're simple wire harnesses, so nothing fancy about them. Just unplug them and then you could take this whole thing out. But we don't need to do that for this job, so we're not going to. Okay, so here's the nitty-gritty of your problem. As we can already see here, here's the linkage. This should be on here. It's not. The common fail point of these is right here, right in this circle. There's supposed to be a bushing. It's already came out, but it's supposed to move with this right here. Let me get the key and show you how it works. Okay, to show you how this works, we would normally stick the key in there and move the gears back. But since we took that off, this is what does that. So if we do that and then move the gears, now this sits right here inside of there, and as you move the gears, this will pull this out and in, and it'll do exactly what we did outside. It'll just move that little linkage back and forth, or to tell it what gear it's in. Now, as I said, in this video, I'm also going to show you how if your gear shift is stuck in park and won't want to come out, the main cause of that is this little piece right there. As you can see, it's in there right now, but a lot of times it will pop out. That's usually the main cause of this car. So we'll zoom in. If that has come out, then that is your problem. You need to put it back in. And a lot of times that screw can come out and give that more room to play, and it'll make it fall out. So that's what I would check for if you're having that problem. And see, this bypasses it. So let me show you how this works. This right here, whenever you put your foot on the brake, it pulls this down, which releases your lever to be able to move to different gears. Okay, so if we turn our car on, now we push the brake in. As you can see, it pulls it down, which releases that to move the gear selector. Let go. So now you can see how that operates. And all I'm doing is pushing with my hand on the brake. Pushed in, and then when you let off, there you go. So that should be able to fix that problem. And we're about to focus on our real problem today. Okay, so at this point you have two options. You can either A, replace this bushing, or you can replace this whole linkage. The linkage itself is kind of hard to find, and you're probably going to spend about 150 bucks. So for this repair, I was having a tough time finding it. So what we're going to do is we're getting a bushing kit. It won't be in until tomorrow, but we're going to replace this bushing. That way it sits up on there and stays on there. Now, if you do decide to go the route of actually replacing the whole thing, this right here will just pop out, and you'll go in here and you'll have to take this panel off, and back here you'll have, I think it's either 2 or 3, maybe 3. They're hard to get to, but you can get to them, and you undo them. They're 10 millimeters nuts that hold it on there to the firewall. And then once you get that out, you'll come to the engine bay. Okay, so you can remove the air box and see all this better, but it is connected to the ECU, so I don't feel like doing that right now, but you can just follow it. And if you look, that's where it goes into the firewall at. So that's it right there. And it comes down. Comes around. It makes its way right down here. Right there where the top of the light is. And right there you just pull it out of this bracket. It's really easy. And then it comes on down to where we were showing you earlier. So you could just remove this again. When you get down here, as you can see, it has a nut right there holding it in. You take that out and just replace it. And when you do, just put it back exactly where it was. That way you don't have any problems. So as you can see, it has room to adjust it. But if it was working fine before, I'd put it back exactly where it was. And you'll be able to tell because it'll usually be shiny underneath. Okay, so this is where it's going to go. And here's the little bushing, little purple piece. Let's go ahead and open that up. Comes with a black installation tool. But we're just going to take this piece right here. And you see those ends right there? We're going to put these on the inside. And then we're going to push it in. And it goes right in. Now we're just going to push it right back up on there. And as you can see, zoom in on it, it is installed properly now. and it should go with the gears. Perfect. Now we just got to put it back together. Okay, so just like before, we're just going to lift it up. Make sure not to snag any wires. There we go. Make sure it seats all the way in. So once you get it back in, you want to check under the cup holders to make sure it's not, got any wires that's holding it up down there if it isn't sitting down all the way. But we look good. Okay, so before going too far, we'll turn it on and we will shift the gear. And as you can see, it is now working properly. Okay, now we're going to put this part back on. This little spot will go towards the e-brake. So just stick it in there. There you go, just like that. Get those started by hand and then just finish them off. Don't go too crazy with it, you'll break the plastic. Don't forget this piece, we'll just lay that right back in there. There you go. Don't forget to put these back in. Get your second one. Go ahead and put that back in there. Now just go ahead and do that on the other side. Don't forget this one down here. And if you have the one on the other side, do that one too. Okay, so don't forget to get your little collet. We'll put that on there. We'll go ahead and stick our key in the little thing right here. Move this back down to neutral. That way we get more working room. So we'll just take our little shifter knob, stick it down. And now you just got to get it aligned. So you may have to raise it up or down until you find that sweet spot. Perfect, don't over torque it. Okay, with this collet, you just want to raise it up and just turn it a little bit and it'll snap in just like that. Okay, once again, to show it working, if we come right back in here, we take this air duct back off. There's the linkage. Now I'm going to get in the car and show you that it moves just like when we moved it with our hand earlier. Okay, so remember to put your air duct back on. Just slides right over. And that will do it for this video. If you enjoyed, please give me a like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you.